Good morning, students. So last in the part of geography, we started the second chapter, physical features of India. We discuss in short is about all the 6 physiographic division of our country, India. I told you about the tectonic plates and the 3 different movements, reasons, how the Himalayas formed. Then we discuss about the Himalayan mountain range. We discuss or study it as in the 3 divided form, where you learn is about the Himadri, the innermost, then second is Himachal, middle one, and the Shivalik is the outermost range. We talk about in short the main characteristics of each, and the map is given you showing to the Himadri, Himachal and the Shivalik range. Okay, today we are going to start. The another is about the northern plain. So if I talk about the main features of the northern plain, I have written in short all the main points. So if I talk about the features, you can see that the northern plain has been formed by the interplay of the 3 major river system. What are these 3? 3 major rivers are the river Indus, the river Ganga and the river Brahmaputra. I am showing you in the map that the 3 major rivers are showing or interplaying a very important role for the formation of northern plain, Himalayas range, and after that this one part is forming that the northern plain area. This northern plain area formed due to 3 major river system. One is first you have given the Indus. Indus river is originated here, and from here it turned. A part is moved towards the Pakistan, and one of the part by crossing the Ladakh enter into the Punjab region. So it is forming, basically Indus river is forming the Punjab region here. Second is the river Ganga from the Uttarakhand range of the Himalaya, and from here it flowed and crossing to that northern plain area, forming the most of the major states of our country, where we talk about the Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, some part of the West Bengal. So till here it is forming or covering most of the part which is known as Ganga plain. Area which is covered by river Ganga is called Ganga plain. Area which is covered by river Indus is called Indus plain. Or then third river is a Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra river is also originated in Tibet. You learn earlier also here in Tibet it is not known as Brahmaputra, it is known as the, you can see, Tangspo river. So this river enter into our country India from the its easternmost range of the Arunachal Pradesh. Then after it is known at the Dihang river, and after reaching an area of the Assam, it is known as the, a part is mixed with the Ganga and known as the river Brahmaputra. So the Assam region is basically covered by the river Brahmaputra, right? So 3 rivers are playing role to making northern or forming the northern plain: river Indus, river Ganga and river Brahmaputra. Not only separately, by at the on its way many other tributaries also join each river. So particular river, and what is river system? A river with its tributaries is called river system. So that 3 river or the river system form the northern plain. It is formed, second important feature of the northern plain, that it is formed of the alluvial soil, because it is formed by the eroded soil of the river, so surely it is alluvial soil. If I talk about the location, that you learn that the after the Himalaya, the Shivalik range or the foothills, after the foothills of Himalayas, there is a location of the northern plain. Next thing is about the northern plain, that this is very fertile land. It is very important for the agricultural purpose. Next thing is that it is spread over an area of 7 lakh square kilometer, about 2400 kilometer long and 240 to 320 kilometer broad. And this area is densely populated area. Northern plain, if I talk about all the different physiographic division of our country, you can see that northern plain area is the densely populated area, and as well as told earlier also, so it's having highly agriculture value or that northern plain area is highly agriculture area of the country. Why? Because it is formed by the alluvial soil. Now two important questions as in a 3-mark question. 1-mark question, number of 1-mark questions are there, you have to prepare. If I talk about the 5-mark question, you may have the features of the northern plain area, what are the characteristics of the northern plain area, as well as if I talk about the 3-mark question, you may have 2 important questions here. Why the northern plain area is densely populated area, as well as you can have a question why the northern plain area is having highly agriculture value. So hope it's clear to you that why it is highly agriculture value and why this area is densely populated. This is densely populated, very first important reason, because it is the very highly agriculture area. Most of the farming activities are done there in the northern plain area. Beyond it, there is a favorable climatic condition. Number 3, there is the plain area, so the easy transportation facilities, roadways, railways are well developed here. Number 4 is the because of all other supportive factors which we learn under these 4 points, the industrialization is also developed properly, mainly in this northern plain area, so providing the job opportunities. As in the 5th point also you can write all the good facilities of hospitals, school, colleges are also available. So because of all these reasons, this is densely populated area. Highly agriculture area because it is formed by the particular river system. So as the river flow, it brought so many humus part, and the deposition is as in the alluvial deposit, which is very fertile. So comparative to the other parts of the physiographic division of India, this one part is the greatly fertile land, and that is why it is having highly agriculture value, right? Now if I talk about the division of this plain area, so in this division we understand it as in a 2 types of division. First division we talk about west to east, and second is the division of the northern plain from north to south. So first if I talk about the division west to east we count it as the Punjab plain, Ganga plain, Brahmaputra plain. You remember I told you here also that the Punjab plain formed by the Indus river, then the Ganga plain in this area, and then the Brahmaputra plain, the Assam region. So this is west to east. ये कैसा है? This is the latitudinal division, or you may see it as the west to east division. So if the 3-mark question is asking that do the latitudinal division of the northern plain, so you need to talk about which one? Punjab plain, Ganga plain, Brahmaputra plain. Understood? Then this is explained to you in the book that Punjab plain is known as the Doab also. Doab means, Do means 2. Ab means water, which may be consist of 2 or more than 2 rivers. And if I talk about Punjab, that is Panch means 5, or Ab is water. So it is basically the Indus river along with its tributary. These are the 5 tributaries: Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. So because of these 5 supportive rivers, this area is known as the Doab also. Ganga plain consisting with the basically spreading the area between the Ghaggar और the Testa river. इन दोनों rivers के बीच में गंगा plain stretch करता है basically, and it consisting or draining the states of Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and partly Jharkhand and West Bengal. Brahmaputra plain is mainly covered the Assam area, right? Then the northern plain is divided as the north to south. North to south, that's mean north from this area to this area. That is longitudinal division. ये latitudinal था. If I talk about the longitudinal division, so that is north to south division. So north to south division we are doing in such a manner that first is Bhabar, second is Tarai, third is Bangar and fourth is Khadar. So in these 4 parts we divide the northern plain. First is Bhabar. Bhabar is basically a Now, I have written anyhow minimum 3 characteristic of each, and you may have also question or the differences or distinguish between Bangar and Khadar, distinguish between Tarai and Bangar, Bhabar and Khadar, whatever. And I mentioned the features and the characteristics also. If I talk about the first one part, that the Bhabar is basically the pebbles deposition about 8 to 16 kilometer. Second, it's parallel to slopes of the Shivalik and thirdly, it is major streams are disappear in this area. If I talk about the second one is a Tarai. Tarai is first is the swampy and the marshy land. If we talk about ourselves in this area of Rudrapur or in Pantnagar, it is you learn it as the Tarai region, or which is basically characterized with the swampy and marshy land or the region. Second, it is thickly forested area because of the good amount of moisture. And third one is a full wildlife is also available forested area, so accordingly full wildlife is also can be seen here. Then if I talk about the third one division is a Bangar area. It is basically composition of older alluvium soil. Secondly, a very important feature is the terrace like feature, and here third is you may write as the a big part soil parts is sedimented here in this Bangar area. Then the last one is a Khadar. Khadar is basically the last part just in the delta area. Okay, so this is the newer younger deposit. The last fine quality of alluvial soil is deposited here. Secondly, it renewed every year because every year the layer is deposited there layer by layer. And third, it's a very fertile land, because every year a new alluvial deposit is there, so it's a very fertile land, right? So I have marked here the three main features of each division, and this division we study as the longitudinal division of the northern plain area, or it may be considered that north to south division of the northern plain area. Understand? So we study the division of the northern plain under these two headings. Got it? So after completion of this northern plain division, next point we are talking about the peninsular plateau. So it's giving you the peninsular plateau. Plateau is given you, and you have learned that what is the plateau. Plateau is basically the tableland. Tableland is just like you understand it, just like a table. Means of course it is elevated area, elevated from the land, but not conical just like a mountain or the hills. It is completely flat at the top. Okay, so this is the main feature of the peninsular plateau. It should be clear first of all to you that it is the tableland like land. Okay, so here we are talking about all the main features of this peninsular plateau. So main feature of the peninsular plateau, first is that it's a tableland like land. Second, it's composed of the old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. Okay, what the composition is? It is basically formed by the igneous and metamorphic rock, and mainly by the igneous rock, so it is rich in minerals. Which physiographic division is rich in minerals? Plateau part. Third, it is the oldest landmass. You learn that the oldest landmass is Gondwana landmass, and after the movement of the tectonic plates, a part of the Gondwana is shifted toward the Asian continent. So this forms the peninsular plateau. So this is the oldest landmass. Fourth is the consists broad and shallow valley and rounded hills. Okay, in this plateau part. Somewhere we are having some of the shallow, somewhere but broader comparatively. Only the hills. Okay, hills, you understand? What is the difference? You have to remember the difference between the hills and mountains. Okay, what the difference is between mountain, hills and the plateau? You see here, suppose if I talk about the plateau, it could be like this. Okay, if I talk about the hills, it could be like this. If I talk about the mountain, conical. Okay, mountain, hills and plateau. So here we are having in the plateau only the hills. Some are the shallow, smaller, bigger. Broadly it is divided Central Highlands and second is a Deccan Plateau. What are the two divisions? Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau. I am talking about both of these again as in a bifurcated form. So Peninsular Plateau, Central Highland. Central Highland is north of the Narmada River, and Deccan Plateau we count south of the Narmada River. You can see in the map that here we talk is about the Narmada River. You see here Narmada River is flowing here. So above the Narmada River, Central Highlands, and below the Narmada River we talk the Deccan Plateau, right? So Central Highlands again divided as 4 parts, that is the Malwa Plateau, Bundelkhand, Bhagelkhand and Chota Nagpur Plateau. Deccan Plateau is also divided as the 2 important division, southern part, Western Ghats or the Eastern Ghats. Okay, so here we have given map. So if I talk about the Central Highland above the Narmada, here we talk about the Malwa Plateau, some part of the Bundelkhand, Bhagelkhand, consisting some part of the Rajasthan, and the Chota Nagpur Plateau is in the stretched small land. Deccan Plateau is this one part. It we study as in the 2 basic division, Eastern Ghat and Western Ghats. Western Ghat is this side, okay? Arabian Sea. You know that map is west and east. So Western Ghat and Eastern Ghats. So to study about the Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat, directly we could understand it betterly by making the short summarizing points, and it is given you a complete paragraph is given you here. You can go through from here also, and I have summarized for the better understanding under the points. So if I talk about the Western Ghat and Eastern Ghats, we can understand betterly. Better understanding could be there by making such difference. So first is Western Ghat. Height of the Western Ghat is approx 11. This is the average height. Okay, you know that average. So average height is 1100 to 900 meter, whereas the height of Eastern Ghat is approx 1600 meter average height. If I talk Western Ghat, it is almost unbroken, whereas Eastern Ghat, that is dissected and broken. This is dissected by the river valleys, different rivers. Third, it is parallel to the western coast. Here near to the Western Ghat के पास में क्या पड़ेगा? Arabian Sea. So it is parallel to the Arabian Sea, and the western coastal area, it is parallel to the eastern coast, means eastern coast, Bay of Bengal. Western Ghat cause orographic rain, whereas in Eastern Ghat there is a no orographic rain. What is orographic rain? Orographic rain is dear, you understand that simply that during the monsoon season there is a continuous heating. Because of the heating there is the evaporation, and that evaporation after reaching to the upwards, and after that cooling condensations there, it started that firstly formed the drop of water and started to again downpour and coming down to the earth. That is the orographic rain. Basically it is the monsoon rain during the month of June, late June or the mid of June. Whereas this orographic range is basically not able to reach to the Eastern Ghat because it is in the rain shadow area. Regarding to the orographic rain, I will post a very short video to you to understand it better. To understand betterly the orographic rain, I will post the video, okay? Next is the average width of the Western Ghat is 50 to 80 kilometers, whereas the average width is 100 to 200 kilometers of Eastern Ghat. Source of many big rivers. Western Ghat because receive maximum rain. Western Ghat comparatively में ज़्यादा बारिश होती है जबकि Eastern Ghat में कम होती है. So understood, ज़्यादा बारिश होती है तो rivers ज़्यादा origin होंगी. So it is a source of many big rivers, whereas comparatively Eastern Ghat hardly any big river or having comparatively less rivers. Rivers are available there in the Eastern Ghat also, but not much bigger. Okay. Western Ghats comparatively receive the heavy rainfall due to the monsoon which coming from the Arabian Sea branch or parallel to the monsoon coming from Bay of Bengal, so it does not cause much rain. Okay, it comparatively receive less amount of rain. Later in the chapter of climate we will discuss these points in detail. Okay. Then the 8th point is about the highest peak. Anai Modi is the highest peak within the Western Ghat with a height of 2695 meter, and in the Eastern Ghat Mahendragiri is the highest peak with a height of the 1501 meter height. So these are the major points is about the Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat. You write these or I will give you later on questions also. Dear children, better is that if you make all these in your geography copy directly. Okay, जो भी डिवीजन आपको मार्क किए गए हैं इस तरीके से, ये आपको अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए ईजियर रहता है. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट यू, इट विल बी बेटर टू राइट और डू इट डायरेक्टली इन योर ज्योग्राफी कॉपी फ्रॉम द दीज नोट्स. आई विल पोस्ट द पिक्चर ऑल्सो, इमेज आपको भेज देंगे. तो अगर आप ज्योग्राफी कॉपी पे लिख लें तो आपको याद करना, लेटर ऑन रिवाइज करना ईजी होगा. ओके, प्लीज डोंट आस्क क्वेश्चन, मैं बताती हूँ वीडियो में. आफ्टर दैट सम स्टूडेंट पोस्ट मी क्वेश्चन अगेन दैट मैम do we need to do it in your fair copy? So it's your choice, and whatever is instructed that you have to do, rest it's your choice, but you do it in your practice copy. After writing it will be better to learn. So division, जो divisions आपको जहाँ पर भी bifurcated दिखाए हुए हैं, ये bifurcated division हमेशा ही आप अपनी copy में जरूर करेंगे. Okay, and here also I will give you a question, differentiate between Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat. That also you need to do the questions. Okay, this is for this second part of this chapter.